first deployment was a lot of chaos getting ready. At the last minute, we went to Southwest Baghdad, FOB Falcon.
With us being in Baghdad, last deployment, we were, we were in firefights frequently. The way that they, I guess the way that they reacted to our presence out there seemed like, they didn't want us there. And they resented us for being there.
بس يصور الموقع. دخلت لكم انه الجام متكسر من فوق.
When we initially got there, our whole job, I could say we were almost there to shake things up. We were there to end what was an unstable situation in the country. They got us there, put us at Rustamiyah, and from that point on, we went into an extremely kinetic fight. We were out there every day, doing our patrols, moving out into the city.
Did some exercises called Dragonfire East, Dragonfire West, and that cleaned out a lot of insurgents out of the Dura market. The AQIZ had took over that place for the last year or two, and we cleaned that out, and also they stopped a lot of fuel, illegal fuel on the gas, and I could tell it was starting to get better.
Y'all played this?
We did some operations where we put up a lot of T-walls, separating areas of Dura. Some of the neighborhoods there because of the high threat levels and the sectarian violence that was going on. We also conducted major clearing operations. It was geared towards establishing security so that the infrastructure could be rebuilt.
They were basically moving into a building and taking it over and running security out of that area. The oil dropped area, if you drop that unit in there and let their effect expand over the neighborhood, then you secure that neighborhood. Then you use that security to train the soldiers and the police, the Iraqi police. But the other mission was we had to establish enough security in the area to allow us to do that.
Daily attacks, daily missions, a lot going on, and then you had the awakening happen where the people basically rose up against the insurgents and turned on them. And that created an opportunity for us to get in there and start training Iraqi soldiers and Iraqi police, and getting them to take part of the security, structure there.
We ended up actually training the Iraqi National Police. My main mission with that was just to train them up on their weapons, which was a little rough on me. I knew everything about American weapons. When it came to the AK-47 or RPGs, so on and so forth, it was a total different ball game for me. But it was a learning experience, pretty much.
We would do medical training. They would bring the IPs into my medics, and we would do medical training with them. Standard CLS. They don't have anything near a medic position. Their guys are basically picked, and they point at somebody and say, hey, you're now the medic. We would take those guys in and turn them into what for U.S. forces would be a CLS level soldier. And we would do that constantly as these soldiers would shift in and out of the IP stations or the Iraqi Army units. Every day we were trying to train somebody else, and that flow was pretty constant.
I remember specifically one time I took a rooftop as the fire support officer to overwatch a unit moving down the street. I could see the Iraqi Army stacked on a building ready to enter, and they were a perfect stack, 1, 2, 3, 4, ready to go, and they all went in, perfectly. So tactically, they were really coming along.
When you were working day to day with the individual soldiers, the enlisted Jundis, the everyday Iraqi soldiers, they just wanted to learn. and they were more than happy to sit down and take a class and learn anything they could.
The Iraqi army, just the regular junta, they're going to imitate what you're doing. They're going to imitate what you're doing, right or wrong, they're going to imitate it. So if we're given a good picture for them to imitate, that's when I see they're going to do what we do.
At first, it was difficult to kind of get used to, because last time it seemed like they were untrained, and we did most of it. They were kind of along for the ride last time. They were observing a lot of what we were doing. Now to have them take charge and do everything, it's taken a while to get used to, but I have confidence in them as far as their abilities are concerned with being able to take over these areas and just monitor, day-to-day things out here. I know these guys are so anxious to get in there and be in the firefights, but this is really what we've worked for. It's hard for them to accept that, because they in school they learned about, and growing up they learned about, with us being in this conflict for the last 9 years, we want to get in there and kick down doors. That's the way that I was taught too. So it's difficult for them to accept that we've moved to a place now where we are working side by side with the Iraqi army, and we're moving forward in the scheme of things.
Their willingness to partner with us in some aspects, it helps it out. And from the soldier level all the way up to leadership, we kind of try to make friends, interact with each other daily, get to know a little bit about each other, know the guys that you're working with, and we've got kind of a friendly relationship with our IA unit that we work with. So it makes the training and things like that we do together, makes it, I don't want to say fun, but it makes it a little more interesting, I guess.
Being out of the cities, not being in every day running these patrols and allowing the Iraqis to self-police, to do it themselves, has changed our fight. Now it's a matter of assisting them to do their jobs.
Now they're in the lead. Now it's helping us do our missions. They are planning and executing missions on their own, or with limited support from us, and that's the biggest change I've seen from Surge to now.
We work a lot more with the IA, and we turn a lot more operations over to them. And the information that we share between us and the IA is a lot more than what we shared the last deployment.
Remember that you're an ambassador for the United States. I mean, as a private all the way up through lieutenant, captain, and higher, remember that you're an ambassador for your country, and you might be the only representative that a Iraqi army, Iraqi police, or that 12-year-old boy gets to see from the American public. And he might take that view of you as what he sees as America as a whole. So you have to remember that, and it's a very large responsibility for a young soldier to have, but it's something they need to understand before they make the mistake of putting the wrong foot forward.
Go ahead and get your first team set up, and I'll get my first team set up.
Partnership important to Iraq because it gives credibility to the government and stability to ISF, and I think that's what they need. They need their people to believe in their government and the fact that there are people here who are working for them inside the country.